Hi guys, this is jjlockhART back again with a new video. This week I decided to pull a little inspiration from one of my favorite shows, obviously Game of Thrones. I was inspired after I watched the season finale, which just occurred this past weekend. And wow, just wow, what an episode and what a season. I obviously am a big fan of Game of Thrones, having several designs that are Game of Thrones inspired. And I have sketched out Cersei Lannister before, but I haven't really given her her own piece. And so after watching the season finale, and I don't want to do any spoilers for anybody that hasn't watched it. I'm sure everybody has watched it by now, but just in case. Cersei played a big part in the beginning of the finale, and wow, just her wardrobe throughout the whole episode was just amazing. So of course I was inspired to draw her in her actually I decided to draw her in her coronation outfit. And back to what I was saying about Game of Thrones. What a season. I've got, I guess, mixed feelings about it. I enjoyed many things visually about the season. There were a lot of awesome things that were going on. But of course, the storytelling and just the overall story of the season was definitely lacking. There were several inconsistencies which sort of impeded me from fully loving the season. So it was a love-hate sort of thing. While I loved many things about the season, there were also many things story-wise that I just couldn't see past, I guess. But overall, I did enjoy watching it. And like I said, the season finale did inspire me to draw Cersei. And so what I decided to do is I decided to approach this a little bit different, just to I guess, experiment with the way that I image make. And the way I approach this one is usually what I normally do is I'll sketch and draw out my composition and my drawing on paper first, and then what I'll do is I'll scan it, and then I'll do usually the line work digitally. So I'll usually do the line work first, and then I go in color. But for this piece, I wanted to try something different. What I did was I just completely sketched it out digitally. I just went in there and I used the, the pastel tool. And just because it gives it a little bit more of a drawing, or I guess a little bit softer of a look, which I enjoy when I'm sketching. And so as you can see, I first did that brighter pink, which I usually use first. And then I went in and I started applying a little bit of a darker blue in order to finalize a little bit more of the lines. And then I went in there with that lighter blue and just added just areas where I knew that there would be some shadow. But I did all the sketching digitally. I just bypassed the paper and pencil. I just wanted to try it out. And another new thing is I just started laying down color. I usually start doing the line work and then I lay down my solid colors and then I start with my shading. But for this one, I guess I just wanted to test it out, something different. So what I did was, like I said, instead of doing the line work, I just went straight into color, and I started putting down the base color and then adding some shading. And I started with the face, and then I added a little bit of a darker brown just to sort of define areas. I didn't fully do the lines. I just mostly just added areas where I knew they would be a lot darker, just to better define the shapes. And that's what I'm doing, just adding a little bit of structure to the face. And I did have a lot of difficulties with her eyes. I guess I always want to do things, usually want to draw things symmetrical, But I guess in nature, the human face is not entirely symmetrical. And with this actress, Lena Headey, who plays Cersei, if you look at her eyes closely, her right eye on the far corner sort of dips out and down, and then her left eye sort of dips out and up. And that was just, it was kind of problematic when I was drawing it, simply because I wanted to do it symmetrical, but I was also trying to make it look a little more like her, just like, I guess, my style. But I wanted, I guess, the drawing to look like my style, but still look like the actress. And so it was sort of difficult, because I wanted to keep her face symmetrical, but I guess at the same time, like I was saying, I want it to look like her. And not only are her eyes sort of different, but so are her eyebrows. Her right eyebrow has more of an arch, and then her left eyebrow has more of a I guess, a curve to it, and not as a severe arch. And so it was very difficult trying to get the eyes just right, simply because they are asymmetrical. And then for the hair, I'm just blocking out the solid gold color, and I went with the deeper color. And then I started adding a lighter gold in front, and then sort of blending the areas where the stroke starts, and then adding smaller strokes in different colors. And then for the crown, again, I used that pink in order to quickly sketch out the rough drawing, and then I went in there and further drew in the crown. And then with the dress, it was like a very dark, I guess it was like a leather, I'm not sure, but it was a very dark dress, and then the shoulders had like a silver or a metal cap on them, which was just amazing. Whoever designed and made the dress did an amazing job. And so I was trying to draw the caps on there, and so I used the same colors that I used in the crown. And I'm just trying to give the crown more of a metal feel to it. And when I was looking at pictures of her, of the season finale, and her in her crown, I was having a very hard time seeing the details of the crown, so I did have to sort of make up a couple of details. And I couldn't really tell what was at the center, but it looked like a 7-pointed star, something to that effect. And so I came up with this design based on pictures that I saw, but like I said, I couldn't really see the full detail of them. So I kind of had to take a little bit of artistic liberties with that. And the same thing with the details on the caps of her dress. I couldn't see exactly what was on there. So I just took the similar motifs from the images that I found, and just came up with something that looked similar. And then I did add that red sash in front, just to break up some of the black, and also to use as a banner, which I will later draw in some typography. And then I'm drawing a sword, which I will then repeat as a background for the throne. And I just simply took the same sword, I guess, pattern and just rotated it behind her. And I did want this all contained within an oval. So what I did is I just made a darker oval behind her. And then I gave it a green glow just to sort of mimic or represent the wildfire. And so I did add that to create sort of a halo effect around her. And also, after I was doing this section or this part of the drawing, I was thinking that it sort of reminded me a little bit of the Evil Queen, which was fitting. And so here I'm drawing out the letter forms, and it just says "Hear me roar," which are the house words for House Lannister. And I used Lannister colors, the crimson red and the gold. And I was having a very hard time with these letter forms, but just kept at it, kept working on them individually. And for the hear me part, I just couldn't get those letters quite right. So what I did is I just copied the M from the me and the A and the R from the roar, and adjusted that just because I just couldn't get it just quite right. And I'm not the greatest at typography, but practice makes perfect. And here's a close-up. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed Game of Thrones as well.